Well, welcome, man. You made it, and I told everyone you had a family, personal family member who had to run to the hospital, and they seem to be doing better. But obviously, that threw you
Yes,
off your game, and you did the right thing to be there for them. So, everyone's hearts and prayers, and it looks good. So, thank you for
I
making it
appreciate that,
back.
man. And I apologize. I totally I got your text. I thought that you said we waited for you for 12 minutes.
No, I
Was
know.
like,
I'm
oh my
like, I
gosh.
shouldn't have done that. I'm like, we're on in 12 minutes. So, all right, buddy. Since we're a little behind, we're gonna like put the hammer down. So, real quick, tell everyone where you're from and how long you've been with EXP.
Yeah, so I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I've been with EXP since May.
Okay, since May. So, May, June, July, August, September, October. What was that? 5 months, something like that.
5 months.
5 months. And you were an independent broker in Baton Rouge, right?
Yeah.
Now, these avatars, not only is everybody in great shape, but there's no height. Like you and I are the same height, but real person, how tall are you? Because I've met you before.
Yeah, I'm 6'5".
He's a giant of a man, I'm telling you. I tell everyone he looks like Grizzly Adams. He's just a giant of a man. You could survive in the Klondike up in Alaska or
Yeah,
the
in my mind,
you
my mind
really
would
are.
say negative.
Negative. So how many people have you signed up personally at EXP since May?
33 or 4.
33, 34. And where do you hope to end the year, numbers of agents?
I hope to end the year at about 170 agents.
170 agents, which is if you signed up, got going in May, that's about 8 months. So from zero to hero, from zero to 170 agents, 180 agents in 8 months. That is pretty amazing. Have you enjoyed the ride?
Yes, it's been. It's definitely been. Was an independent broker. It was a crazy transit. The XP was kind of fine tuning their onboarding, but I tell you, it's been the best move ever, and I've met some incredible people, and I've had the opportunity to become partners, get into business with people across the country that are just amazing, awesome people, and it's been an awesome experience for us.
I love it. See, I love John's voice. He's quiet. He's calm. I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world. My energy is a little different, but you're killing it. People in the audience are listening, and they're going, man, 33 people in 5 months. That's crazy. So, what in the world did you say to people? Did you promise them free land in Alaska? Did you buy them cars? I mean, how did you get 33 people to sign up with you? What was your process that you went through to get started in EXP like everyone else? Like, what'd you do? What was your main approach?
I recruited my son. He's 19 and just a stud, and he recruits so many people. And it's been fun working with him and seeing him grow and blossom and become his own person. And really, you see him start to attract some great people. And then I got in dialogue with a lot of great agents, and I've always attracted agents from a needs-based approach.
Hey, somebody's mic's on, I think. We make sure you mute your mics, everyone.
And so for me, it's always been building rapport with people. And I think that you build rapport with people by earning trust. And I think you earn trust from people by really setting out from the beginning, letting them know that you have their best interests at heart. And the way that you do that is by identifying their needs. So when I'm talking to people, it's never, hey, I want to tell you all about EXP and then go, vomit on you everything I know about EXP. It's always been, hey, Brent, this is Jonathan. I'm really excited about the transition that we made. You probably have heard about it. I wanted to see if you could get together for a cup of coffee, or if they're not in our market, if we can get to call. And I just want to share some strategies that have helped me in the transition, and I think maybe they could help you. And from that conversation, they might say something like, I'm not interested in making a move that yet added. And I'd say something like, man, that's fantastic. I love being around happy people. And I'll make you this promise in this conversation. I won't talk about your company. I won't talk about EXP. We'll really only focus on your business. And I'll share some strategies that have helped me that I promise you, if they're implemented, they probably can help you too. And so that helps us with them and let them see I truly have their best interest at heart. And then I do a needs analysis. I ask them lots of questions about their business. Where, you're on track to hit your goals. What was your goal this year? What's your GCI goal? Are you going to hit that? Does that scare you or concern you if you're not on track to hit it? Tell me about what you're doing to gain your business. Where is it coming from? And I just ask tons of questions. And then I tell them, hey, look, I want to put together some ideas and thoughts based off what you shared with me. Can we circle back up in the next day or two and let me kind of present some strategies that I think will help you not only meet your goals, but exceed them. And then from there, it's just connecting the dots of what the value proposition that EXP provides and the value proposition that combining those together and going, here are the solutions to the challenges that you're facing. And I already know their challenges because I asked all the right questions that let me know their pain and what their problems were and their challenges. And all I have to do is provide the solutions. And if I do a good job at that, instead of just sharing everything that EXP provides, now I've hit their pain points and I've helped them connect the dots and self-discover. If I could get where I want to be quicker than if I stay where I'm at.
That's awesome, Jonathan. I love it. So I know there's people in the audience going, well, I don't have his experience. I wouldn't know what to tell him if he circled back up. And so for those of you in the audience, what you want to do is get with your upline, your sponsor, whoever you're going to talk to, going, hey, I met with this broker, I met with this agent, I met with this independent, and here's what they're doing. They're killing it. They're, this and that, but here's where their concerns are. Here's where they're struggling. They just don't get luxury market. They don't get whatever it was. What would you advise me? Then you can get help from someone like myself or Jonathan, who's been around the block, and we could actually give you kind of a game plan for them. So don't think, yeah.
I'll tell you, I actually, on that follow-up when I'm talking to them, I would tell you that 99% of the time, I just kind of bring back up what their pain was, but I always do a three-way. And as often as I can, and this might make sense to you, hopefully it will to you guys in the audience, I don't try to be the Lone Ranger because I could. I can speak and talk the lingo and help them, and I've been, in seeing where their challenges are and act like a coach or consultant, but I really don't. I want to find their pain, and I always send them from that meeting to watch a video, whether it's the new RE or whether it's inviting them onto a webinar in between when we follow back up, because I want them to have some exposure to EXP. And then when we meet, I just hit on a couple of their pain points with some solutions and get them on the phone with my sponsor, Scott or Tracy, or just anyone else. And I've called multiple people for three-way calls because I want them to see I can do this too. I can send someone to watch a video, and I can have somebody get on the, and in fact, I asked them that. I just rolled in a brokerage in Tuscaloosa, and when I was, that broker got me on the phone with somebody after they had watched the video, and I said, "Can you do what Josh did?" And they said, "Well, what do you mean? Can you send them someone to watch a video and then get them on the phone with someone to ask a couple of questions?" And they said, "Well, yeah, I can do that." I said, "Well, that's all you have to do to be successful in this business."
Bingo.
And that's what I told my son. He's 19 years old. He recruited 7 agents this month. He's 19, no track record, and that's what he's doing. Getting into a video, getting them on a three-way call. I mean, he had an appointment this morning. With probably one of the biggest agents in our city. And he's been talking to that guy. And that guy sent me a message and said, "Hey, listen, I met with your son. It was such an incredible conversation. I want to have more dialogue on what this transition realistically looked like for y'all to see it. I mean, this is a big brokerage, you know, and he's reaching out to them and having those conversations, but he's doing it the way I just shared.
Yep. I love it, man. So there's a 19-year-old signed up 7 agents this month. What's your excuse? The bottom line is everyone's got excuses. They're like armpits. Everyone's got a couple and they stink. So quit making up excuses. They stink. You don't want them. The other, Jonathan, I know you've probably heard this saying. I love this saying. If you argue for your limitations and you win, you get to keep them. Well, I do XP, but I'm shy, or have a glass of water, or I don't have enough time, or, you know, this or that, or I'm too busy selling real estate. Well, then congratulations, you're going to continue being too busy selling real estate. Now, Jonathan, real quick, I want to back up on you a little bit. Would you tell everybody, because I think it's fascinating, your story of how you ended up in EXP, how, you know, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, Scott and Tracy offered EXP to you and you blew them off, but what that process was like. And this is hilarious. I love this story.
Yeah. So Scott Lewis reached out to me via LinkedIn, and he had sent me a message, and I said, I'm not interested in EXP, and I have my own brokerage. And we had 130 agents. Now, all those agents did not come with us when we made the move to EXP, but when I saw it, I was like, I don't care if no one comes. I go expand and build a business. But in the beginning, it was total opposite. I was saying no, and I didn't even know what I was saying no to. And then he followed back up, and he said, before you say no, I just want you to really think back about, and he said some guy, I don't even know the guy's name. I thought it was a football player, and I learned 2 weeks ago that it was some guy who had the opportunity to help start Facebook and said no. But he said, before you say no, I want you to think of this story about this guy, and I just really want you to take a look. And I said, no, I'm not interested. Stop messaging me. And so he did for a year and a half. And then he out mergers and acquisitions. And I didn't even respond back to that message. And then fast forward, it had been a full year and a half. And I was at a point now, pain versus pleasure. I was trying to find a way out. My expenses were incredible. We had 3 offices, agents, you know, they say they want this, and you provide it for them, and then they want this or that. You know, you're trying to meet all these needs and be all things to all people. And I had to teach, and I had to train, and I had to recruit, and I had I had to do it all. And my wife worked with me at the office, and so when we came home, it was 24/7, and we never got a break, and everyone was calling. I was just tired of it, and I was looking for an escape route. And so I went to my LinkedIn because there was this guy from Realogy who was the head of mergers and acquisitions, and I was trying to find his message that he had sent to me to potentially sell my brokerage. And when I typed in mergers and acquisitions, because I couldn't think of his name, the first message that popped up was Scott Lewis's, where he had talked about mergers and acquisitions in one of our messages. And I sent him a message. And you know how sometimes you just do something, it's kind of like you're just frustrated because of where you are in life. Like, you know, I've got this something here. Like, we did, no other independent brokerage in Baton Rouge ever exceeded 100 agents ever. Other than one that started in 1917, and they're still here. That's the only, and they're not an independent anymore. So we accomplished a lot of great things. But we were, my wife and our family, we weren't where we wanted to be. And so I just sent him a message. I don't even know why I sent it. And all it said was, hey, buddy, how's that little revenue share going? That was it. And the next day,
I'm sitting here laughing. My mic was muted. Hey, buddy. And that was back in what, April?
That was in April. Yeah.
Okay.
And I sent the Realogy guy a message too. I reached out to him. Well, Tracy called me the very next day, and she said, Tracy Lewis, and Scott's on the golf course today. He wants to talk to you, though. He's got a time tomorrow, and he wanted me to tell you that his little revenue share was $153,000 last month. And my wife was in the car with me when this call came in, and she just looked at me, and she's like, who are these people? And I was like, I don't know. I sent him a message on LinkedIn. And so when she said that, I said, well, that's awesome, Tracy. That's actually why I was calling. Definitely would love the opportunity to meet with Scott and learn more. And the next day he called me, and we had about an hour-long conversation. And that was on a Friday, and then I called him on Saturday, and we talked on Saturday, and I called him on Sunday morning, and we talked on Sunday morning. And then 3 a.m, I called him, and I said, is this real, what I'm looking at? Is it really, like, is this how I'm reading it? This is how I think this happens. Is this right? And he said, it's 3 a.m, man. And he said, you must have EXP insomnia. And then
I love it.
That following month, so that was Monday at 3 a.m. Monday at 8, we talked again, and I said, hey, I'm going to do this, and it doesn't matter if anyone comes or not. I'm going to start talking to my top agents, and I spent the whole week talking to them. And then Scott came in and spent a week with us, and then it was a crazy transition, the rumor, Kasturi Newman.
Hey, please mute your mic. Somebody's mic is hot. Lower left-hand corner, please mute your mic if you're on a cell phone listening, and hit mute. Thank you. Sorry, Jonathan. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. And then we made the transition over, and Scott and them came and helped do that. And it was really kind of crazy. The real estate community here said we're leaving the real estate world. It was like the vultures came out trying to recruit up every agent that they could. And we went to work and started. We brought about 60 agents with us, and then of the 60, we lost about 20 in the first 90 days. They never got engaged, never got plugged in, and I think maybe kind of felt like they had a decision that was made for them instead of them making a decision. And then we just kind of went to work and started attracting people all over the country. And now we're in dialogue with multiple people who are just like myself, who have, 100, 130 agents, and they're stuck, and they're trying to figure out an escape route. And that's who we're helping right now.
Yep, that is awesome. Oh, hold on. I muted my own mic. That is awesome. I love it. I went through the same mental hoops you did when I saw this. I checked it all out. Then I made a decision. I'm going to EXP with or without my team. Now, I didn't have 120. I had 18. And because I only had 18, I was able to sit down with each and every one of them and win them over. So I was actually 18 for 18. And they're also with me today. We now have 23. But, 120, that's like a big ship.
Yeah.
The part that cracks me up is when it still blows me away. When I meet a leader of a team, say, 8 agents, 14 agents, 26 agents, and they'll say, well, let me go back to the team and see what the team thinks. If the team likes it, we'll come. I'm like, it shocks me to hear that. No, we're a team. This is a team decision. I cannot relate to that. It's like if you're the captain of a battleship destroyer group, you're like, let's see what all the sailors think, and where all the sailors want to go, that's where we're going to go. You're going to end up in Korea or some port in Hong Kong where they're just partying their brains out, having fun. No, as a leader, you make decisions, man. It blows. I hear it all the time. It shocks me that leaders of teams.
I mean, one of our top agents, and she was a top agent at KW, and then she came to our company, and then we made the move, and it took her 2 years to see if we were going to stay open, and then I had to go sit down with her and go, hey, we're going to close, and then we're going to become EXP. And she sat down with me last week for coffee, and she said, I just want to tell you thank you. I love EXP. I love being able to just do my thing and thrive. I've learned a lot with my husband. He just retired, and we go to see our grandkids EXP affords me the ability to always make sure I can talk to someone and get wherever I'm at and get help and help my clients, and my business has grown. And you were in such a tough spot, and you made a decision. She just literally said this last week. You made a decision, and you didn't look to the right or to the left. Once you made it, you made it. And I just want to say thank you, because I love this move that we made. And I think that's what leaders do. They make decisions. It's not going to be the one that makes everyone happy. But I knew that forward, I told my wife this, and I'm starting to see this happen now, that the people that left us will circle back to us.
Oh, yeah.
People that didn't make a move when we made the move are already kind of reaching out and going, hey, you help us. And like that guy that met with my son today. That's the kind of thing that's happening right now as a result of us making this move and then getting in dialogue with people all over the place.
Love it. Love it. So 2 things here. Number one, there are people who are saying no to you right now that will say yes. I mean, all the time, people circle back around. I sign them up 6 months, a year and a half later. So you are succeeding. If you feel like you're not, you're planting seeds. Scott Lewis, who's dynamic and amazing, Jonathan's like, stop instant messaging me. When the gate was open, you open that door. So that's number one. People will swing back around to you when they have enough pain. Number 2 is, you had mentioned you had about 120 agents and you hope to end the year at about 170. What is the difference as an independent trying to be all things to all people to try to keep those agents happy when you're running a traditional independent firm of 120, and then having, even say if it was only 120 excited, pumped up EXP agents? Is there a difference? Is it the same 120 agents, or like, what is your experience?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, here's the difference. I'm headed this week to Alabama, and we're working with one office that, if they just sent a message yesterday, and I'm not even counting them and where we are, or where we intend to be. But they just said our move might be sooner rather than later. That was the message, which I found intriguing. But they have 145 agents.
Wow! Wow!
So number one, I never could have done that on my own. I wouldn't even have the possibility. Hey, I'm gonna get to 100 agents, 200 agents by the end of the year, but it could be 300. And that kind of growth isn't going to happen as an independent brokerage.
Right.
The biggest I maybe would have gotten to would have been 200 agents, and that's it. And then I got to figure out how to get out of my market into another market, and that isn't going to happen as an independent unless you have so much cash that it just doesn't matter if you lose people's money.
Right.
Other markets, and so EXP has given me the ability to just go into these other markets and expand rapidly and quickly. Now, the process of not having the difference of having 100 at EXP versus having 130 as an independent. Oh my gosh, I don't answer questions, and they'll call me every once in a while for stuff, but like, they used to call us nonstop for everything, and we're not their go-to people anymore. We're their hangout people, hey, let's have fun and that kind of thing. And but we're not answering all their questions. I used to carry around a list with me, an actual list that was called my at-risk list, and it was the agents who were at risk of leaving our company because they were mumped up because they got a T-shirt instead of a plaque, or they rolled off of cap and they were mad because they had a big transaction coming, and then they thought that we should let them stay capped a little bit longer. Whatever it is, they come in and they hadn't been engaged, they hadn't been at the office, and then they come in and then they're mad because their copy bill was incorrect and they didn't make that many copies, and there's no way, they've never done that ever before, even though they're the only one with their copy card that they have to actually swipe on the machine. But you can't tell them that. You got to say, oh, well, that's you're walking on the eggshells, and we don't do that anymore, And if an agent's like, hey, I'm not happy here, well, then I get it. Go be somewhere where you could be happy. I had like I told you, I had 15 or 20 people that left us in 90 days, and one of them just said, there's no community. I said, that's not true. What I never would have had this kind of conversation as an independent. I would have tried to fix the problem. Instead, I just said, hey, listen, I get it. You're choosing not to be engaged, but you can't say we don't have community and that we don't do things. What you can say is, I have chosen not to engage, not to participate, and therefore I'm not a part of the community. You can say that. That's a true statement. So it's, and it's wishing them the best and not worrying about it. Yep. But before it's, oh my gosh, where am I going to replace this agent with? I gotta find this company dollar somewhere, and it's I don't live like that anymore.
Yep, absolutely. So hey, two final thoughts. Number one is Gene Frederick talks about people's gates being closed or open. A year and a half ago, your gate was closed. Last May, last April, it just creaked open a little bit. And what we're going to see in the next 2 or 3 years, especially like right now, people's gates are flying open. They're being introspective here in November and December. They're thinking about the year, what they achieved, what they didn't achieve. They're doing their taxes. They're looking at how much money they made. They're setting goals for next year. And they know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. This market's getting tighter like a boa constrictor around their neck. And as people stop making, like Tom Daves, the #1 Keller Williams agent, 4 years in a row. It was this past year as the market shifted here in California. It just shifted a little bit, but it ate up a lot of his profit. He became open-minded to looking at EXP. His best friend wrestled him to the ground. He goes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. He's in. Same story with you. We hear the same story again and again, Jonathan. Our company is getting ready to explode. You guys are on the front end of a movement. We will have 200,000 EXP agents. More and more agents are coming all the time. And November and December is recruiting season, like deer hunting season. It is, I hate to say it, agent hunting season. This is where things slow down, and then they slow down, and then they slow down. Agents have time to watch a webinar. They're thinking about it, and I was taught that at RE/MAX. It was firmed up at Keller Williams for 8 years. November, December is when agents are at risk, as you put with your link. They're really going, you know what, maybe I do need a change. So, man, get fired up. And if Jonathan's son could do 7 people this month at 19 and meet with the #1 guy, it's that chatter in your head saying, yeah, but I can't. You know what? You're right. If that's what you're thinking, stop thinking that. Start thinking you can. Hang out with good people. Hey, Jonathan, I'm going to tell everyone, and you're invited too, January 14th, 15th, and 16th in Scottsdale. We're doing a very high-level leadership event. The who's who of EXPs flying in. You have to have 7 personals to come. Now, honestly, if you have 4 and 3 onboarding, you're in. If you have 2 and 5 onboarding, you're in. If someone's brand new, like a Jonathan Dupree, and he shows up and he sponsored 1 person, but he's just a major baller, bring him. But ideally, this is for agents with 7 or more personally sponsored. And we're expecting hundreds of agents to fly into Scottsdale January 14th, 15th, and 16th. We'll have a website up on the 12th of November. So today is what, the 5th? It should be up in the next 7 days. There's Eventbrite and the who's who of EXP is coming. Everybody in this auditorium should be there. It's going to be flat out awesome. And I just want to say that.